Welcome. Thanks for joining me for a vinyasa flow practice. My name's Kailey. This will be, ooh, there's a cat underneath me. He may make a cameo in a minute or two. Um, I was saying this will be about a 50-minute practice. So when you're ready, meet me on your mat. I'm going to start seated. Feel free to start in child's pose or to start on your back if that feels like a more comfortable place to open your practice. I thought Milo might join us, at least a little tail. I'm really enjoying keeping my eyes open for a moment and just slowly taking in my surroundings. And see if you can notice, if you're joining me in that, see if you can notice something in your space that maybe you've never really noticed before. Notice the texture or notice a memory that's associated with something. Really letting your senses be open to the moment here. When it feels right, you can let the eyes close down if they weren't already, or soften your gaze downward. Start to shift some of your attention to the sensation of your breath. Good, deep, clear breath in through your nose, go all the way up, and then pause at the top of your inhale. Go ahead and open your mouth for your exhale. Okay, feel the shoulders or the hips release a little bit. Take 2 more deep breaths like that, wherever you landed. Big, clear inhale. Brief pause at the top. And then open mouth exhale. Getting a little bit more settled in. One more on your own. Blink the eyes open gently. Meet me on your hands and your knees, finding a tabletop position. And spread out the fingers pretty wide here. Start to tune into the little muscles in your hands. Shoulders over wrists, hips over knees. He's been sleeping all morning and he just woke up. Milo just woke up, so he's like all about the cuddles. Let's take a couple circles over the wrists, as well as over the knees. Find some space in the low back. So there's a tendency here to kind of dump into the lower back and tilt the pelvis. See if you can resist doing that. Find some more awareness in your lower spine, lengthening. Switch the direction of those circles. Send a little bit more of your weight back to your shins and your feet. Take your left arm back by your side, palm facing in, thumb facing down. And then circle your left wrist. So in vinyasa, we have a lot of pressure on the wrist, and we have the wrist in this flexed position with weight, loaded with body weight. So we want to make sure that that range of motion is accessible, that that joint space is nice and aware. Take the left arm up and open, rotate the torso to the left, maybe even stretch that left leg back for a side plank variation, if it feels good to get into that kind of spacious chest position. From here, we're going to thread the needle. So take a long inhale. And then left knee comes back underneath the left hip as you sweep that left arm underneath the body, resting on the left side of your head, maybe the left temple or the left ear. Take 2 cycles of breath. You use your right hand for a little bit of counter pressure, rolling the weight outside of that left shoulder. You moved your right hand, reset it underneath the right shoulder. Let's take that left arm up and open, back into that side plank variation. Meet me with the left leg long back behind you. Try and stack the shoulders and the wrists here. And then sweep the left arm forward. You might even start to rainbow the rib cage and the spine, find a little bit of a side bend, big, deep inhale. High push up on your exhale. So come to the top of the plank pose. Press the mat away with your hands. We're going to keep the knees off of the mat here, but crawl the feet in so that left knee is underneath the left hip. right knee under right hip. Hover the knees above the mat. And then step the feet back to plank. Walk the feet in with the knees hovering. So bear is the pose with the knees hovering. We're just going to move back and forth between those two shapes. You should start to feel some heat in the body, some heat in the arms. Think about stretching the crown of the head toward the front of the room or past the top of your mat so the neck stays in line with the rest of the spine. We're here for 5, for 4, 3, 2, lower the knees down underneath the hips. Shift the weight back toward your feet and your shins. This time that right arm's going to reach back. You can take as much weight off of the left wrist as you like. Circle through your right wrist. Deep, clear breaths here. Try and find some space in the right arm. Switch the direction of those circles. And then shift forward. If you shifted way back, we'll take the right arm up and open, finding some rotation. Maybe that right leg comes back behind you for a side plank variation, just getting a little bit more space in the front of the body. And then when you're ready, thread the needle. Right knee slides underneath the right hip if it moved. Softening down onto the right shoulder. 2 long breaths here. Bring the left hand back underneath the left shoulder. Come back to that side plank variation or visit that side plank variation on this side for the first time. We're going to stretch the right arm forward. Find some space in the side body. Use your breath to create even more space. Long inhale. High push up. Pause here. This time, come down onto the forearms. Keep the hips in line with the shoulders here if you can. And then just shift forward and backwards. Warm up the ankles and the feet a bit. Press the elbows down and energetically either straight down with the elbows or imagine that you're sliding your elbows back towards your toes. For 3, maybe instincts in 2, and 1, lower the knees, the hips, everything down. Keep the elbows where they are. Keep the chest lifted. Maybe adjust the elbows a little bit. Separate your feet. Find a little bit of ease in the legs. And then look over your right shoulder. Try and keep the left shoulder blade on the back of the ribs here. Might want to kind of slide up into the left ear. Big breath. And then look over your left shoulder. Come back to the center. Lift your chin toward the ceiling, not forcing it, just noticing what that range of motion in your neck is in this moment. And then lower the chin back toward the chest. Bring the nose straight forward. Take a long inhale here. Exhale and release. Press it back to child's pose. Knees wide, big toes close together. Take a long cycle of breath here. So inhale, slide forward to the hands and the knees, tuck the toes under, tailbone lifts, chin lifts. Exhale, tuck the tailbone, tuck the chin in toward the chest. For cat. Do that again. I think I said that a little bit funky, a little bit backwards. Tail lifts, chest drops into cow. Inhale the chin. Tuck the tailbone, hug the navel in, chin to the chest. Exhale for cat. Take one more here on your own. Try and start that movement in the low back. Let it wave up the spine. And then when you're ready, take it to downward facing dog. Tuck the toes under, send the hips up and back. A little bend in the knees, or maybe a big bend in the knees, pressing the chest back toward the thighs here. Give your head a gentle shake or a little nod. Good place to check in with the jaw and the neck. And lift toward the top of the mat, lift the heels. When you're ready, step to the top, find ragdoll. So feet about hips distance apart, generous bend in the knees so that you can bring your chest close or all the way onto the tops of the thighs. Any arm variation that feels good. You can catch the crooks of the opposite elbows or let the arms just dangle. Find a little bit of a shift forward and backwards. So we're going to challenge the balance. You're not fully lifting the heels or lifting the balls of the foot probably, but just keep shifting maybe 80% toward the toes and then 80% toward the heels. And starting to build that proprioceptive, that interoceptive awareness of where your body is in space. Release the fingertips down. Slide the palms up against the shins. Find a halfway stretch here. Again, create some space in the lower back, lengthening the spine so you're not arching into that lumbar curve. Breathe in. Catch the calves as you exhale. More active forward fold, chin toward chest. Keep the chin in toward the chest as you roll it up slowly. The head will be the last thing to lift up. Reach the arms up. I just noticed there's a bunch of cat hair on my pants. Big full body stretch here. Feel your feet root down. Pause for a moment. Really feel the connection between all four corners of your feet and the mat or the floor beneath you. And feel that lift from the wrist creases up. Long breath in. Bring your hands to your heart. Let the eyes soften or even close down. I came across a teaching recently that this concept of mindfulness, this word that I think a lot of us, myself included, kind of struggle with, comes from a Pali word, which is like a language that predates and informs Sanskrit. The word is sati, and it actually means remembering. It means to remember. And so the way we've translated things, sometimes stuff gets lost in translation, but maybe for today, you might play with this idea of what it means to be remembering the present moment, remembering the senses, remembering whatever that evokes for you, right? Coming back to some sort of essential knowing or truth. And if that doesn't resonate for you, just let the poses be enough for today. Take one big deep cleansing breath right here at the top of the mat. When you're ready, open your mouth, sigh it out, blink the eyes open. Then Salutation A, reach the arms up on the inhale. Fold forward, hinge at the hips, soften the knees on the exhale. Find your halfway lift and breathe in. Plant the hands, step back to high push-up, rock forward, lower half or maybe all the way down, slow, controlled. Cobra or upward facing dog, inhale. If you want a little bit more back body activation in Cobra, float the hands, use the muscles alongside the spine. And then down dog on your exhale. Press the hips up and back. Look at your knees or your navel. Take a breath in. The breath out. Lift the heels forward. Empty your breath and then step your feet to the top of your mat. Real mindful movement, remembering the breath. Halfway stretch, breathe in. Forward fold, breathe out. Rise with the inhale, stretching. Come right back down on the exhale. Halfway stretch, finish your breath there. Plant the hands, step back, and then flow through to downward facing dog. When you land in down dog, you can pause for a breath or two, and then take one more of these sun salutes. Feel free to add things in, to take things out. There's no rush, especially with a home practice. You can really make it your own, put your own flair on it. Is it possible to sync up just a little bit more with your breath? Just a little bit more present in the sensations in your body. Meet me in a downward facing dog. From down dog, keep the right leg back behind you as you breathe in. Bend the right knee externally, opening that hip. I'm going to do a few rotations through the right ankle in both directions. Keep pressing the chest toward the left thigh so you're stable. And then keep the right ankle still, but rotate that right thigh bone in the hip socket. So draw big circles with your right knee. See if you can control those circles, switch the direction of them. Like smooth, maybe perfectly round beach ball with that right knee. Re-extend the right leg as you breathe in. Step the right foot through between your thumbs. Pivot the back heel down. We're going to come into warrior one. So it doesn't have to be the deepest warrior one. You might swivel around in the pelvis for a moment there. Find your footing. And then square the hips and the heart toward the front of the mat. So that might not mean like a perfect 180 degree angle, but just feel that energetic movement of the left hip pulling forward and the right sit bone drawing back. Nice long inhale, lengthen out the fingers toward the ceiling. Plant the hands, step back, flow through your vinyasa, meeting in downward facing dog. So you could go straight to downward facing dog. Once you land, take the left leg up, open the hip, bend the knee. Rotate the left ankle, try and create as smooth of a circle as you can. There's all of this neural tissue in the joint space. Switch the direction of those circles. And the more we can move in like a deliberate way, the more we activate those proprioceptors. Circle the left knee. It's great for maintaining or improving range of motion, also great for bringing nutrients into the joint spaces. Switch the direction of those circles. Deep, clear breaths. Re-extend the left leg when you're ready, breathe in. Step the left foot forward, spin the right heel down, and warrior one on this side. Pressing down to the knife edge of your back foot, rooting down through the big toe mound of your left foot. And then lengthening up, so use your arms to draw the ribs up and away from the pelvis. Breathe in, plant the hands, step back, flow through your vinyasa. We'll meet up in downward facing dog. From down dog, right leg lifts on an inhale. This time, bring the right knee to the right elbow on the exhale. Shoulders step over the wrists. Kick the right leg back, breathe in. Step the right foot forward, breathe out. Warrior one, that's your inhale. Plant the hands, step back, and flow through your vinyasa. So real simple warm up today. We'll get into a more complicated flow. Left leg up on and in. Left knee, left elbow, squeeze the air out, squeeze the left knee up. Inhale, re-extend the leg. Exhale, step forward, real deliberate. Warrior one, come up, finish the breath. Plant the hands and cycle through your vinyasa. We're gonna move through that 2 more times on each side, building some heat. Right leg, lift on and in. Right knee, right elbow, exhale. Kick back, breathe in. You can do a pursed lips exhale anytime. Step forward, breathe out. 0, 1 on the inhale. Plant the hands, step back, flow through your vinyasa. We'll do the left side together and then 1 round solo. Left leg up, breathe in. Knee to elbow, breathe out. Press it back on the inhale. Step through on the exhale. Warrior one, finish the pose, finish the breath. Plant the hands, circle through to down dog. Take the right and the left through once more. And we'll meet at the top of the mat. Okay, with that concept of remembering, returning, I'm reading a book right now by Thich Nhat Hanh, and he talks about mindfulness maybe being better termed senseful, like being filled with awareness of sensory input, internal and external. Forward, meet me at the top of the mat. Stay in the breath flow that you started to establish, so there's no rhythm happening here. Bring the hands to the sides in Tadasana or mountain pose. Rotate the palms forward, rotate the thumbs out just a little bit so you get a gentle lift through the chest. Root down into your right foot here. Lift the left knee and the arms. Find your balance. I'm going to take it back to Lightning Crescent. Bring the ball of the left foot back behind you. Tap the left toes back at the top of the mat as you bring your hands to your heart. Keep the right knee bent this whole time. Step it back, Lightning Crescent, just on the left tippy toes. Tap the top of the left foot, hands to heart. Lightning Crescent. Step it forward. Keep going like that. Keep the bend in the right knee. Keep pushing into your right heel. Imagine the right hip crease pressing back for the back of your mat for 3. For 2, hold your Lightning Crescent on this last one. Reverse warrior, spin that back heel down, lift your right heel if you need more. From here, we're gonna find a side lunge at the back of the mat. Pivot the toes toward the long left side of your mat, not all the way into Skandasana, but just finding a side lunge. Bring your fingertips down inside of your left toes, just in line with the left toes, pressing through the knife edge of your back foot. Right, keep that back knee bent, hands to the heart. Tap the right toes next to the left, so you're in a little chair, and then bring them forward. Tap it back into your little chair and forward. It's not a little chair, it's a pretty deep squat, right? For 5. For 4. We're going to take Skandasana at the top on 1. Oof, big bend through that front knee. Use your fingertips if you like or need. Releasing that left knee to its nice lengthened state there. Dragonfly Twist. Left hand down, spin the left heel up, reach the right arm up and open, rotating the spine, rotating the rib cage. Use the breath once more to create even more space in the body. We're going to step the left foot to the top of the mat with the feet kind of wide for Lightning Bear. So feet wide, arms to the sides of the body. Tip the tailbone underneath a little bit so the lower back has a ton of space. And then rotate the arms so the left arm comes up, the right hand comes down. Switch. You're almost or maybe totally tapping the outer edge of that outer foot. Keep reaching the crown of the head away from the tailbone so the head is just coming along for the ride, maybe looking up toward that top bone. Come back through the center. Lightning Bear, lift the heels if you need more. Pulse the hips down an inch, up an inch. Down an inch, it's a slow pulse, up an inch. For 5. For 4, keep the tension in the muscle fibers. 3. We're going to stand all the way up on 1, 2. Heels down on 1, reach all the way up. Breathe in. Bring the arms back to your side. Mountain pose as you breathe out. Whew. We'll try that on the other side. Maybe swivel the hips around, loosen up if you've got any cramping there. Reach the left knee and the arms up. Nice long inhale. Find your balance. Lightning Crescent on the exhale. Right knee, excuse me. Come back to the top of the mat. Right knee and arms up. That was a blooper. So we'll do the other side for real. And then step the right foot back here in Lightning Crescent. That's the right side. Keep this left hip hinged. Keep the left knee bent. Bring the hands to the heart. Right toes tap the mat right inside of the left foot. Ooh, push into your left foot. Tap the right toes back. Lightning Crescent. Step it forward just on the tippy toes. So that left leg stays as still as possible. This is one of those places where I need that pursed lips exhale. Make some space for some more oxygen. For 3, we're gonna hold lightning crescent in 2 and 1. Pause in your lightning crescent. Reverse your warrior, pivot the back heel, lift the left arm, maybe lift the left heel. That little pop through the left heel actually helps with our transition to this side lunge. So pivot, bend the back knee, fingertips can come in line with your right toes underneath your shoulder. Right. Another big challenging one, keep this back leg as still as possible. Bring your hands to your heart or to like a wide airplane wing. Tap the back foot to tap the front foot rather to the back and then step it forward. You could reduce this range of motion immensely. So you could be up just like this. Move in a range of motion that you feel like you really do have some agency over. So the goal is not to move past that place where you feel like you're flopping all over, but to build strength in whatever range of motion is your edge in this moment. For 3. For 2, we're going to take Skandasana at the top on 1. Shift the weight, shift the bend into that front knee. Your right knee a little love. Dragonfly twist, right hand under right shoulder, left arm spins up and open. So this particular sequence is quite a bit more dynamic than some of the work that we do. We're only going to flow through it once. Take it into lightning bear when you're ready. Feet at the top of the mat, pretty wide in the feet, arms wide by the side, and then rotate it side to side. Keep the hips low. Imagine that you're pushing your heels down, straight down, and then that you're trying to stretch the mat wider underneath you. So imagine that you're moving your right foot and your left foot farther apart. For 3, hold your lightning bear in 2 and 1. Lightning bear, if you want, you lift the heels. Whether the heels are lifted or lower, take it down an inch and up an inch, down an inch and up an inch. Keep that energetic pressure in the heels, pushing down and away toward the long edges of your mat. For 5, standing up on 1. 4, 3, 2, all the way up. Breathe in, hands to your side, reset. Maybe walk the feet a little bit closer together, shake it out. All right, here we go. 1 full round. Right foot stays anchored. Left knee and arms up. Breathe in. Lightning crescent, breathe out. Option here to bring your right thumb to the hook or to the crook of your right hip crease. And press that hip crease into place as you step the left foot forward and backward. So that'll help kind of keep that right leg as still as possible. For 5, hold your lightning crescent in 1, 4, 3, 2, lightning crescent. Reverse warrior, pivot the back heel, lift the front. Inhale. Side lunge to the back of the mat. Exhale. Hands to the heart, warrior wide airplane. Here we go, tapping the left foot to the back. For 5. That's the right foot. 4. It's one of those days. 3, 2, Skandasana at the top on 1. Find your balance here. Maybe fingers are down. Breathe in. Breathe out. Dragonfly twist. Spin up and open on an inhale. Lightning bear at the top of the mat. We're going to skip those rotations. Option to lift the heels or keep them lowered, but lengthen through the low back. Find that nice neutral pelvis. Down an inch, up an inch. For 10, 9, 8, 7. Keep pressing the heels straight down and then out toward the long edges of the mat. for 4, 3, meet me standing in 1, 2, and 1. Stand all the way up, breathe in. Arms to the side, walk the feet back underneath the hips. Right away, right knee, arms up on the inhale. Lightning crescent on the exhale. Option to bring your left thumb or the heel of your hand into that left hip crease. Keep the left leg as still as you can. Right toes tap forward and back. Forward and back. For 5, 4, 3, lightning crescent in 1, 2, and 1. Lightning crescent. Reverse warrior is your inhale. Maybe that left heel lifts. Low lunge to the back of the mat on the exhale. Hands to the heart or to that wide airplane. Here we go. Left foot to the back and to the front. And keep that back leg as still as possible for 5. We'll meet in Skandasana at the front in 4, 3, great, 2, and 1. Skandasana at the top of the mat. Breathe in, breathe out. Dragonfly twist. Inhale, the left arm spins up and open. Lightning bear at the top of the mat. Last time like this, maybe the heels stay down, maybe they lift up. 10 slow pulses, or roughly 10. I care way less about how many pulses we do or how many repetitions we do than the action that's happening in those muscle fibers and those connections that the neuromuscular system is making. We're up in 3, in 2, and 1. Heels down, arms up on the inhale. Mountain pose, let the eyes soften, maybe close down. You might have a little sway in the body, that's okay. Just letting your senses be really in tune. Do you feel a little burning in any muscles? A little quicker rate to the heart or to the breath. Bring your hands interlaced right over your heart. I'll turn to face the palms pressing into the heart. Lift the chest up into your hands. Lift the chin. Squeeze the glutes just a little bit. So keeping that pelvis nice and stable. Think cow. So we're extending the spine here. Big breath in. And then as you exhale, think cat. Rotate the palms away from you. Round the shoulders up into the ears. Come back into that cow variation. Inhale, lift the chest, palms press up against the heart. Cat, exhale, palms push away, tuck the chin toward the chest. Take a couple more here. Just cooling it down a little bit. Great, root down through your right foot. Bring the left foot up into tree. So kickstand, tree, or bringing that foot above or below the knee. Maybe using a wall if you've got something nearby. And then the left foot's pushing into that right leg, but see if you can press that right leg back into the left foot. Some days balance is different. Still great to practice, even those wobbly moments. We're stimulating healthy mind and muscle connection. See if you can hold your tree, but hover that left foot away from the right leg. This is a great place to grab hold of a wall. We're going to do some knee circles here. Bring that knee out to the side and then down and then back up. So circle through that hip joint. Notice if you're compensating in your shoulders a bunch here. We're going to set up a figure 4. Cross that outer edge of the left ankle over the top of the right thigh, and then settle the hips back and down. This is another place I like to bring the thumbs into that hip hinge. Soften the sides of the neck, relax the jaw. Slow motion, come up with the left knee. Maybe the arms come up, maybe they stay on the hips. And we're going to fly it back into airplane. The left knee is pointing downward. It might rotate out to the left a little bit, but mostly pointing it downward. See if you can level off the pelvis here. And then slowly, slowly, slowly step the left foot about 3 feet back behind the right foot. Send the hips back like you're in a halfway stretch here, but airplane wings. Push into the heels, square off the hips and the pelvis, and then fold forward, releasing the hands down to the right shin or to blocks or to the floor. Find your pyramid pose. Really great place to let gravity help give you some space in those cervical vertebrae, those upper bones of the spine. Let the crown of the head drop straight down. We're flipping the way that gravity usually acts on the body, literally upside down here. We're going to find standing splits. Take the left leg up, shifting the weight to the right foot. And then take a Shiva squat. Bring that left knee into the right calf. I know it's a lot on this right foot. We're going to do a little transition here. Get off of the feet for a moment. So the left knee, look down to the right pinky toe. Look outside of the right pinky toe to your mat. The left knee is going to land there, outside of the right pinky toe on the mat. And sink the hips down. Bring your right hand back behind you. Lift the left arm up. And then take a twist to the right. If this is a lot on your knees, you can keep the right leg where it is, but straighten that left leg out. We're just taking some sort of a rotation. Look forward. Untangle the legs. Bring the forearms down back behind you. Bend the knees into the chest. A little bit of core work. So not exactly a break yet, but off of the feet at least before we do the other side. Bring the legs to a tabletop position and then extend out to about 45 degrees. Bring them back in, out and in. The lower you bring the legs, and the more you're going to have to recruit abdominal fibers. See if you can avoid bringing it to the point where you have hip flexors getting involved. So for me, going lower than 45 degrees starts to take me out of my core and bring me a lot more into the hip flexors, which I suppose are arguably a part of the core. But think abs for 10, 9, if you need more, hover the arms, 8, ooh, don't need more today, 7, 6, 5, 4, last 3, 2, and 1. Cross your ankles, plant your hands, stretch it back to downward facing dog. When you're ready, walk to the top of the mat. We've got the left side of that balance sequence, and then we're cooling it way down. So roll up nice and slow, root down into your left foot, make a point on the horizon that's not going to move, and then find your tree pose on this side. As much as your right foot is pushing into the left leg, press back with your left leg into that right foot. Keep the right knee bent, but float that right foot off of the left thigh, and then we're going to circle that knee around. And slow that movement down. Very much allowed to grab hold of a wall. So this is less about balance really and more about hip mobility with just one foot underneath you. Switch the direction of those circles. Take it into your figure 4. Returning to the breath, returning to that practice of mindfulness. How much can you notice about this moment? And how much can you cultivate an attitude of curiosity or compassion, as opposed to an attitude of, judgment? Bring the right knee and the arms up. Sometimes the judgment is there, and then just be curious about the judgment, or compassionate with the judgment. Take it back to your airplane. We're going to set up for pyramid, but keep the spine long. Bring the right foot back. Right heel down, the left leg straightens out of it. Then hinge through the hips as you stretch the pinky fingers back and pinch them toward one another. So the back muscles are active here. Find more space in the low back, and then hinge even farther forward into your forward fold into your pyramid. Sometimes that'll give you a little bit more space if you're not rounding the low back before you start to come into that forward fold. Let the eyes soften or maybe even close down. Back to lengthening your breath. You might try on extending the exhale. Try and make the exhale a little bit longer. You're ready, shift the weight forward. Maybe walk the hands forward for a little counterbalance. Right leg comes up for your standing split, not a long hold here. Look toward the left little toe. That right knee is going to bend toward the left little toe. Hinge the hips, walk the hands back for support. The thumb's going to come down and the right knee comes outside the left foot. Left hand back behind you, right arm up. Take a breath in and lengthen. And then find your twist to the left. Home stretch. Look forward, breathe in. And the hands back behind you. Untangle the legs. One more round of real easy bicycles. So instead of lots of core work here, just think about that hip articulation. If you want more abdominals, feel free to find another kind of crunch action that would support you here. Switch the direction of those circles if you're with me in your bicycles. One way usually feels a little bit more awkward. All right, lower onto your back, bring the knees into your chest. Take some gentle circles over your sacrum. Switch the direction of those circles. Bridge pose, feet down, hips lift. Bring the arms by the side with the palms face down. We're not going to do a bunch of these. Tuck the tailbone toward the knees. Lower the hips as you inhale the arms back up over your head. Big stretch through the side body. Lift the hips as you exhale. The palms come down by your side. Press the floor away with the feet and the palms. Inhale, hips down, arms stretch overhead. Exhale, hips up, palms come back to the side. Keep moving like this as smooth as you can. As much control of the breath. So Ujjayi Pranayama. The next time you're in your bridge pose, we're going to hold it there. Unclench the jaw. Smooth across the forehead from temple to temple. Maybe even close the eyes down here. Imagine that you've got a yoga block between your thighs, energetically squeezing together. Lift just a little bit higher, find a little bit more space on the inhale. Vertebra by vertebra, lower down, slow. Take the arms back up over your head, breathe in. Audible exhale, open your mouth. Walk the feet to the edges of the mat, keep the knees bent. Walk the arms down by the side in a bull pose or cactus shape. Let the knees drop in against each other for a moment. 3 deep breaths here. One leg at a time, extend the legs out away from the low back, coming into Shavasana. If there's any stretches that you need before you can rest on your back, you can add those in. If you need a spinal twist or a forward fold. As you start to settle into Shavasana, really gentle scan of the body. There's not a special order to do it in. Just notice if there's any pockets of lingering tension. Maybe give those areas a little shake or a little shimmy. Shake the shoulders, the hips, waggle the feet. And eventually bring your awareness to the points where your body's touching the surface beneath you, and that stillness, that solid quality, the floor or the rug or the mat beneath you. Let it start to seep up through the skin, through the muscles, into the bones. Encouraging that quality of settling, of stillness. Even in the stillness, let the breath move gently. Another moment here in your resting posture to affirm that you did enough for right now. Maybe that more importantly, you are enough. Perhaps if you're feeling a little depleted in any way, you can take just a couple really powerful, amped up breaths to energetically fill up any of those reserves, like a rechargeable battery. Breathing into the spots in your body or your heart or your mind that feel a little empty. Fueling those spaces back up. Start to bring some movement back into the body, some deeper breath. Meet me in a seat. Be patient with your body. Take your time to get there. When you land, bring the hands into any kind of mudra that feels like a reminder, right? A remembering. So much of this ritual, of this practice, is these things that symbolize, that are like little reminders to just come back to the moment, come back to what's here, come back to presence. From that space, we'll close practice together. One last big breath in, let the shoulders shrug up into the ears. And then open your mouth, let it go. Thank you for joining me. Take good care of yourself. And yeah, that's it for today.